going to a map that they supposedly look comfortable on. Now, the last time we saw them play this was in the Copa Elite 6. It was the best of 3 against FaZe, and they did lose it 5-7. It was a very tight matchup between the two of them. They have quite the history, and I just can't wait to see what strats they bring out. W7M, they're one of my favorite teams in terms of team structure and strategy, and they're just, wow, kicking it off with a Twitch ban.
All right.
Can you get any more peculiar than that?
I like it. You see the OXG guy is going to have a think about that one. Is that going to change very much? If you do have any particular strats to use that Twitch, you're going to have to change it. They're happy to double down with the Thatcher ban, though. So both, utility disrupting operators that would disable a lot of that electronic utility on site.
Twitch is a very curious one for me. I feel that the way the Oxygen play, they have quite a few flex players in the roster now. We've seen, for example, Laxing, he's really moved into this flex secondary support type role, and a lot of them do like to make use of that Twitch to try and clear the utility. So the fact that it's gone is something out of the way for Oxygen, who are starting out on the attack. Finally, the Valkyrie and the Azami to be banned out is two very important things to be taking away from the defense. That architecture that you can create with the Kiba barriers is no longer there for W7M.
Yeah, so for Oxygen, they're just going the exact same bans that they went previously. And, funnily enough, in the Oxygen versus Gladiators game, we didn't really see Oxygen play all that much Azami in Twitch. We had no Twitch picks, and we had 2 Azami picks. So I'm a bit confused here. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Maddie. You want to say what you just pointed at my screen to?
Well, I mean, in that game, Twitch was banned out anyway, and so there's no option for them to play it. Anyway, W7M, they will start us out on the Aviator and Games bomb site, looking to play into this. I just love Volps on the Warden. He's just such a crazy player, and giving him that MPX license to run around the map and do whatever he pleases with that gun, the utility of the C4 in his hand, and a great gadget when it comes down to it, is just, I think, the perfect way to enable such a player.
Oxygen not only fighting for survival in their group, but also fighting for the pride of their region, which thus far has struggled somewhat. North America not having their best tournament here, especially in the context of their previous tournament. Charlotte Major, we had Dark Zero won it, we had Astralis as runner-ups, we had XSET in the top 8 as well. We had so many NA teams making a name for themselves, and here, I mean, if you look at the head-to-head matches, North America is actually currently going negative, 5 wins to 9 losses.
Oxygen, they're starting their way out on the bottom of the main says, looking for a more direct attack. It's actually going to be Laxing to be the first point of contact. He's just found, hang on a second, Volps. He tried to go for a jump out onto the players going into Pottery, but immediately shut down KZ, though. Thank goodness he's there for the trade.
Oh
JV to follow up even further, putting W7M in the man advantage.
Bit of sass here from W7M. They're not letting up. Jumping out the window for Volps was just the beginning. JV92. Running all around him, and KZ as well. Well, the round is just about over. Newer's one of the newer players to the roster. Now has to clutch up 1v4.
And that was so characteristic of W7M as well. The way that these guys play is just relentless pressure. It's not necessarily aggression. I think there's a difference. Aggression is when you go and run at them and see what happens. With W7M, it's more calculated. We saw that even though a lot of kills came out, it was often off the back of team play, doubling up. Aside from Volps hopping out on his own, every other play they went for was in duos. It was double trouble. It's the way that W7M play, where they put the mounting pressure onto the attack. W7M come to you on the defense. It's not the other way around.
They like to set the pace nice and early. The pace of the rest of this round should be fairly slow. Nuez just waiting for a pick or two, but KZ finds, I believe, his 3rd on for the round. An excellent start here from W7M. I'll tell you what, you would not miss any of these guys on a dark night with jerseys that bright.
The first round on the board for W7M, Oxygen, although they were able to get that first pick, they weren't able to find any more. Volps giving away his life, but the rest of W7M, they were there to clean up house now. They'll take us over to Trophy and Statuary. Oxygen, they need to pick up the pieces here. They need to be ready for that aggression. What is the play that they can go for here? Is it to be passive? Is it to wait for those jump outs? Just try and play cutoffs? Is there even a point in trying to make the entry? Or should you just be punishing the mistakes that W7M are making?
Well, W7M are not really known for making a lot of mistakes. But you're right, like it's a question for OXG of trying to counter the aggro or to try and play make and get in there early. Very tough decision to make. W7M have been so great. During the BR6, nigh flawless, first place. They love those BO1s. And while they couldn't quite hack it against FaZe in the Copa Elite 6, they're now here in the BO1 format at the group stage. And they have been flourishing.
W7M looking for an extended roam over towards the south side of this map here. Just looking to try and contest the entry of Oxygen. Anyone trying to get into study is going to be met with a crossfire immediately, and that seems like what Oxygen are also going for. Starting out Laxing and Newers over on the study balcony, starting to drone it out and realizing that there is a bit of resistance on this side of the map.
Laxing got the opening kill in that previous round for his team.
Uh-oh.
There's a bit of an aggro potential for Herds here. Got that mute jammer to protect him. It's actually Oxygen to find the opener once again. Volp still let loose on this roam. Hasn't been punished as of yet, but you can see KZ is so eager to make something of this.
I'm a big fan of the way that Oxygen are treating this game at the moment. They're going, okay, W7M, we know that you guys are going to come to us. Let's just wait outside the building a little bit. Try and enter from a point, the path of least resistance. And that's exactly what Vertical has been able to do, coming from the basement as there was no one contesting him from here. Relaxing, that's a bit of a cheeky claymore, but I think that one gets blocked out by the suitcase just behind it. Oh no, it doesn't actually. Oh, he's just shot out the suitcase to make sure the laser peeks through. Very cheeky.
I love that play. That is very precarious now for W7M to try and aggress into bathroom. Got to be wary of that laser. It's very hard to shoot that claymore off as well. But it looks like W7M are aware. They're playing carefully. Oxygen have also slowed this right down.
And absolutely, as they should. They don't want to be taking any space that they cannot, but KZ is going to shut down Laxing as he tries to make his way into bathroom. That's part of the map control that just hasn't gone in their way, and really, Oxygen, they haven't achieved all that much in terms of control.
They do have good information. You can see the drone inside Astro, but it's just fallen apart. Herds has now found one as well. Vert going down, one of the big hitters for OXG, yet to even find a kill across these two rounds. Volp's taken low, but still survived for now. W7M firing up in the 4v3. Oxygen, like, what is the play here? You've got to find an in somewhere.
And they have tried to find it in every way they can use. He's able to take down the player of KZ on the Astro stairs, but is down but not out. Foxy will be there to clean up, of course, and knife to the back. And it's a 3-on-3 situation. It's winnable. I'm not going to count Oxygen out just yet.
And the fact that this wall is completely solid prevents Oxygen from getting any free real estate, but here comes the entry from Newers. Takes down the Malusi Banshee. Got a difficult position now with the feet holes. The line of sight for the defenders. Volps finds one trader back. Herds gets in on it. It's all on Newers now. 1v2. GDN and Herds to try and clutch it up, but it ain't happening for Newers. 2 rounds now for the W7M roster.
W7M, what a peculiar team, and how difficult it has been for Oxygen to get even an in onto this attack. Last round, we barely even saw them go into the building. The round before that was very much a similar story. This time, however, Oxygen, they tried to take the path of least resistance. They tried to go in from places where W7M were not holding onto, but the moment that W7M were keyed into where they were, the pressure immediately came and flooded them. We saw Astro Stairs being retaken immediately. They were not willing to give up bathroom, and it made that attack so claustrophobic. Really, the only thing they had of control was master bedroom, and that was about it.
Yeah, not really, not able to do a lot with the ground that they had. Not able to get any extra ground as well. All of that lurking shut down. W7M, it's so hard to break into these defenses because you never know what they're going to do. You never know if they're going to round the corner. And they extend their setups as well. Of these holes opened in the MEM walls, just above the reinforcement. It's a great line of sight from inside Trophy. W7M keen to hold this map as much as possible. A lot of vertical pressure. Reinforcements as well on the triple walls in stat. An early presence on basically all the map that you could possibly hold.
Well, that's the thing about W7M's defenses, is that they do start out early where they can. They do start out aggressive on the doors and corners. That's where they get you. But the moment that they feel the pressure, the moment that they feel like they're going to be retraded out, they give it up. They dial it back, but then they find the timing to pounce on it once again. But hang on a moment.
Speaking of pouncing,
Oxygen, they seem to have found an in onto the bomb site.
It's Vert. He's been live droned. He's got some information. Volps, what's going on there? The call immediately to come out from W7 on, hey, a second. The Americans are on the site. KZ to take down Laxing. And that makes it a bit more difficult now for OXG. Separated. And W7M composing themselves here despite losing the map control. KZ, what a play. The site player taken down from above.
And now Oxygen are in a very tricky position. They've only really got one on the side. Dream with the 180. The bomb is starting to go down. It's all happening here inside of Dining and Kitchen.
But the vertical game once again is there for KZ. Herds and JV92 have got a kill each, and KZ is going to survive that nade by finding the pick first. 3 rounds straight, a sweep for W7M.
And once again, just such another peculiar round for Oxygen. They found the in onto the bomb site. They were in the position to...
And now we're back into the game. Relatively new introductions to the roster. Dream and Newers. Yoga and Kino departed this roster after Invitational, went over and played for XSET, who's been doing surprisingly well this tournament. At this point, perhaps those two players thinking, hey, we've got a better chance of making playoffs than our former team.
W7M, they're going to take us back to Aviator and Games as well. They're actually changing up their hold quite significantly. They've onboarded the mirror as their setup and playing it inside of this little art gallery. That's looking cool. Inside of Living. They're anticipating the direct attack. That's exactly what Oxygen went for in the last round. They tried to play the grenades from below, but they couldn't even get their feet in the building. This time, there's even utility dedicated to preventing that push from happening.
So there's got to be some crazy depth on W7M, Mandy, for them to win quite dominantly a defense of this Aviator Games bomb site and then return to it 2 rounds later, changing their strategy completely. Like they're not hiding strats. They're not saying, oh, let's just do exactly what we did before because we know it worked. No, we adapt.
And now Oxygen, it almost feels like they're starting to play into this as well. They're taking this ground floor control, but they're taking it from the other side of the map. Any moment now, Foxay is going to be met with that mirror setup inside of Living that I'm not sure if they droned out. I don't know if they know, but this could be dangerous for Oxygen.
Bomb located by
OXG are droning the positions both on site and down below where they'd like to take control. Vert moving in through Art. And KZ still roaming around Living. He's got a jump out prepped as well. Just underneath the 90 window. That would take him outside. We've seen that W7M are not afraid of jump outs. Oxygen, we're aware of it. Laxing has already placed down 1 Claymore. But what is the play here for OXG?
Well, it seems like OXG are completely averting the hold inside of Living, and they've consolidated all their players around the study side of the map instead. Foxay is going to support from the rappel, cutting off any roamers trying to go back into the site, but it feels like they're just not going to go for below up at all. They don't want to contest the entry at all. They just want to find as many picks as they can before they even step into the building.
Yeah, and W7M don't want them to step into the building. As soon as Newers tried, he was shut down. And as soon as Fox tried to rappel on a window, he was C4'd. He survived, fortunately, but Vert can't say the same. Laxing's in the building, finds one. Is there a refrag? There needs to be, but perhaps not. W7M, getting a bit too overzealous. Laxing finds a second kill. 1 more, and we're even.
2-on-3 situation. Foxay is going to collect a little bit of intel. That's the Warden player inside of Vaults. A minute left as well, and so Oxygen can convene their players and try and decide what they're going to go for. But look at that. KZ going for a flank undetected. Oh, maybe there's a flank drone. Foxay, he's turned around. He might know.
Yeah, he's got the info. You can clearly see it by the way he's playing. There's a yellow ping as well, but he knows he can't wait forever. You can't allow W7M to dictate the pace. KZ's 7-1 right now, and he's being hunted down by Laxing, but he can just hold down the trigger. What are you meant to do against that?
Concussion.
Only 30 seconds left now. OXG have made this possible.
Foxay to toss in his final smoke canister, trying to decide whether he can divide up the defense, the vision, but it doesn't work out. Laxing taken down. Warden, the perfect operator in this situation, and now there's only 13 seconds.
Fox, what have you got to do for us? The Canadian finds the first kill. Just got to take down GDN now. but he's not getting given anything. The smoke player hiding behind the bar. He ups and takes him down. W7M continue their streak here, 4 rounds straight.
Up, down, Funky Town, says GDN as he closes out the round for W7M. Once again, another round, less dominant this time, but still another one on the board of W7M. The tempo, the momentum is still well and truly in their favor. Something that I just love about W7M is the way that they set the pace of every single game. Once you're stuck in that W7M current, there's no getting out of it. Now, in Australia, we get a lot of surf life-saving tips. Whenever we say you get stuck in the rip, you just need to sit there. You just need to float until the beach takes you back. And that currently feels like what Oxygen are stuck in right now.
I really hope that people watching this understand what we're talking about, because I did surf life-saving. I did nippers when I was a kid as well. So I know what you're talking about, but I really hope other people do. But it's true, like, if you are stuck in the tide, sometimes it's better to roll with it and then pick up the pieces later. And Oxygen, they've struggled to do either of those things. They have been consistently put on the back foot by W7M. I don't think a single round has gone by without a reasonably early man advantage for W7M, which is ironic, Mandy, because every round so far, well, at least the first 3 in a row, Oxygen found the opening kill.
Well, the thing about W7M is even though that they might be given away the opening kill, they know how to dial it back. And even though they dial it back, they're not afraid to dial it back up again and try and find some timing. And here we go. Once again, W7M contesting the entry onto Newers. Newers, he really cannot get an in on this game at all. 1-on-4 shut down on the entry every single time.
Yeah, wow. I mean, even with Vertical coming along to open up the wine barrel so he can get in downstairs early, Volps is still there ready and waiting. It's like W7M are always ready. It doesn't matter what you do. What is that? Perone at the drone hole. I have never seen that before, and it is disgusting.
A perfect read from KZ. Last time Laxing went for exactly that. He tried to repeat that. It was Laxing going down. KZ went, "You're not going to get me this time. I've seen that one before. You're up to your old tricks," and he shuts him down.
Dirty start now for W7M. Oxygens have just struggled. You need 2 attack rounds on Villa, realistically. Even a defender-sided map, you can't afford to go down 5-1.
Oxygen now starting to get their burn onto the shield inside of Master, which is enabling the player over at this Bricks Herds. It's enabling him to take this fight onto the winner with the 1.5x. A missed nade. You're right. 2 smoke babes. All that utility has gone out for nothing.
So nade finally cleared.
Oh, no.
I believe that. No, the shield is still up. That is so rough. Herds knows it. He knows both nades are down, and he moves in to play aggressively off the position.
This is dangerous for Oxygen, but a nade could connect.
Hello.
Oh, KZ. No, oh no, a second one. He's perfectly read. What on earth was that from News? He perfectly read the fall off from KZ. He falls straight into the second nade. KZ was like, "Oh, this is magnetic. I'm just a nade magnet."
He seems to be indeed. And Oxygen looking like they might be able to find their first round here. 3-on-3, but JV92 quickly angles his way back into the site. Caught between a rock and a hard place, though. Oxygen have the positions, but W7M, you can just never count them out. They are so dangerous, every single one of their players.
Volps, he's on the Astro Stairs, a very dangerous position right now. Could possibly getting pinched from Newers, a player in bathroom as well. He has to take a fight, otherwise it could be over for him. He does. He takes the fight onto Newers. He takes the second one onto Dream, taking him down just a slither of HP.
I mean, Dream's got to win this fight. Foxay's down. And it could well be 5 rounds in a row now for W7M. Dream. He just has a dream at this point. He gets the first one, but the trade is oh so prompt. W7M asserting their dominance with a 5-round streak.
There is just such an aura of dominance that W7M have in this lobby at the moment. There is nothing, not a single thing that Oxygen have been able to achieve. Not the entry. That didn't work out too well in their favor. Newers, he was almost shut down immediately. He had to wait a minute for Volps to get off the denial before he could even go in. The shield clear, that didn't work out in their favor either. The missed 2 grenades ended up being missed. Herds was able to sit there for such a long time. Even trying to put down a claymore, they couldn't do.
He gets headshot through a drone hole while rappelling. I will say it again, I've never seen that before. I mean, I've seen attackers rappel there and get kills with the drone hole. I've seen people put claymores there before. Never have I seen a defender contest that. Especially because he was vulnerable to the closet window as well. Like, that is just the absolute that is the guts that w7m have. They are not afraid of risk-taking because to them it's not a risk because they know they're good enough to make it work. And that surely gets into the mental of any team that comes up against them in the lobby. I've got to feel like w7m, one of the most frustrating teams to play against. You know that they're going to be aggressive, and yet what are you going to do about it?
Well, the thing is, aggression is the right word to have, but it's aggression that's so calculated. There's nothing that w7m do where you look at it and you go, well, that was a bit silly. Every single thing that they do is like, wow, that was genius. That was so smart. Even the way that they fall off and retake space, the timing that they get on that, the teamwork that they use to do that, they often double up, they often play the crossfires. It's genius. Last time the Oxygen attacked this bomb site, they got in straight away, but w7m didn't freak out. They used the teamwork, the tandem of that vertical to retake the site slowly. And that's just this team that we know and love. The tempo is incredible.
Can they go straight flawless on the defensive side? Could be 6 in a row. Laxing, he knows that there might be a jump out, so he's even going to claymore this Astro window as well. KZ doesn't take the bait. In fact, he holds on even tighter to his position in Astro. Herds as well to support. Need to go over, I believe that's to clear any wall denial to enable a flank or to enable a breach, or perhaps it's just to look for a player. But, of course, in classic w7m fashion, these guys aren't giving up. KZ, he's been droned out multiple times, and it just enables the C4 from GDN.
So claustrophobic, this attack. Once again, Newers, he was stuck inside a bathroom, the sole entry being closed out by 2 players inside of Astro and a C4 to follow up. It's just perfect once again from w7m. Now KZ, he's in a bit of a pickle, in a pinch. He overstays his welcome. Vertical finally able to claw one back for Oxygen.
Yeah, well played from Laxing, just on that that position outside, the little bit of railing that you can stand on. He locked KZ in the corner. Ooh. Here's good information from Foxay, perhaps a floor bang. Vert goes for it, but the position has been moved. Now this vertical game opens up by Vertical himself. Very aptly named. He's going to try his best to find these players on site and get the first round for Oxygen.
Once again, the site has been given to Oxygen. The rest of the w7m players standing adjacent around the bomb site as it's been cleared through this vertical gameplay. Foxay, he'll be the first in to find not too much defense to contest with just yet.
Tip of the spear. But can he land the lethal shot? He does onto Volps. Plant going down, it's retake time. Or go bust for w7m. Herds desperately with the Roni trying to make it work on site, but Laxing has got the flank under lock. GDN cannot survive. Oxygen finally stem the bleeding and get their first round.
And that was much more well played from Oxygen. That time they were able to get into the bomb site, they were able to put the bomb down, but not only that, they had a much better idea of how that retake was going to work for w7m. We saw Foxay make the entry, but Laxing, he made his way in through that red hallway, anticipating that w7m would be going for that retake, and that's thinking a step ahead, and that really enabled them to play that post plant just so perfectly and finally get around on the board.
Defense time for Oxygen. Going into this game, we knew that Oxygen had a decent Villa, but one thing that concerns me, Mandy, is if you look statistically, Oxygen have a 61% attacker win rate on this map. So they are really good on the attack. Down on defense, it's 46%. w7m also better on attack than defense on Villa. If you add all that together, right, the fact that this is a 5-1 is such a grim look for Oxygen, because we know how good w7m are on the attack here, and we know that Oxygen have struggled on their defenses of this map.
And just look at that, w7m bringing out something very special with these attacker repicks as well. Capital on the board, something that we don't often see in Rainbow Six, but has come into a lot more fashion. On top of that, we also see the Ying and the Nomad too. Ooh, this could be a bit of a spicy entry. They electing not to bring any hard breach at all, just the hard breach charges on the Capital in case they need it.
Looks like a bit of a roam clear though for Oxygen, so not, oh, sorry, for w7m, not a direct hit as of yet. Aviator Games are in the bomb side of choice. And first step is to take down these players, and you say it, and KZ is going to go for it straight away. Vertical shut down. Still Foxay on this roam in Astro. How long will he be able to survive? He's got no hope, no backup. Just has to trust his SMG-11. He's been droned now. Volps to try and push in. He's been flashed, and It's just such an easy cleanup. Thankfully, Laxing has found a kill, and he NS and TYs himself. Good stuff, mate. I respect that. Bit of sass in the chat.
Oh dear, we love the dynamic between these two teams, just don't we? w7m with a very successful roam clear so far, making their way all the way up to these landing and connector positions, now being live droned in with that Iana clone. Herds making his way through with the Yin Candelas. Can he make anything of it? Not just yet. Now's the point in the mid-round where w7m have to decide what they want to do next. Are they going to pivot their plays over to study side, or just focus their control on this 90 and vault position? Now, it has been catered off, and this is quite a tricky catered claw to get off as well, because it's on the other side of the vault door. It's essentially indestructible. And so I feel that, ooh, w7m could be a little bit stuck here in 90 for now.
Yeah, to be fair to Oxygen, they might have numbers advantage, but they have a really nice site set up. Those mirror windows as well are going to make it very difficult for w7m to go for a vault plant. If Laxing can land a couple of more NS rounds, then it certainly would be winnable for OXG. Newers gets the timing on his side to dodge that vertical grenade in study. He's very aware that there's a player down below, so he tries to hold it from the main stairs. Who's going to win this fight could dictate the round.
It seems like w7m have decided to pivot their plays over to study instead, knowing they can't get this vault wall open. 2 players on the balcony and 2 players coming through red. Perhaps a flood into study. This could be explosive.
And the Ying is the perfect operator to aid it. And directly on through Herds. But Newers finds the opening pick. JV92 does manage to trade him back immediately. Herds knows about the position of Laxing, and the NS this time comes from Volp's. Dream now going for the flank from study. His position is seemingly known. It's certainly covered. Gets it down, but not out as of yet. A 1v2 in this post plant. This is where Dream must earn his salary.
1 player in vault and 1 player far outside playing this long post-plant game. That's it. Just by the archway connector. Dream hit by a Nomad charge, delaying this even further. Volps to clean up the round. Yet another one on the board for w7m.
And with it, the match point, it is a 6-1 scoreline. Brazil standing tall. They will not let Oxygen breathe.
Absolutely not. That roam game just was so choked out by w7m in every single way. KZ, he was so quick on the entry. The player inside of Statue, blink and you miss it, really. He was barely even looking at him by the time he got in the building. Foxay, he played a great roam as well inside of Astro. Unfortunately, he got droned out. They were able to take down at least 1 player, but all for null, as eventually w7m flood the site with all the utility they had. The mirror windows come down to nothing as they're smoked out, and just another clean round for w7m.
And now there are 5 chances for w7m to lock in playoffs. A win here doesn't even matter if it's regulation or overtime. A win is playoffs for w7m. Feels inevitable at this point. Even losing in overtime, which is the worst they can do, 98% chance of making playoffs.
That's crazy.
It would take a miracle for w7m to not make playoffs at this rate. But it's just a formality to lock it in. And if you can do it in such a devastating fashion as a 7-1, and that would be quite a story to tell and quite a statement to make to North America and to Oxygen, who have struggled so significantly and will be fighting for a playoff spot in themselves, particularly over Wolves, who are also looking so hot right now, but are yet to qualify for the playoffs.
I just love the vibe that these w7m guys have. Every single game that I've watched them play has been just an immense amount of teamwork, being on the same page. They never look like they're out of step from each other. Even though they are aggressive, it's a disciplined aggression. It's an aggression that's so calculated. It's so well put together from the team. Even on this particular entry, they've seen the mirror window, and they're not just going to go and run in at him or anything like that. They're waiting for that 90 cutoff. They're waiting for the drones to come through and see what utility that they can get to work. Volps, he's just taken a heaps of damage off that 90 cutoff from a C4. It seems like for now, Oxygen will hold on.
And they need to. There's a lot of stake behind this game for them as well. While w7m are trying to qualify for playoffs, Oxygen trying to avoid being locked out. If they lose in regulation, only a 12% chance they can make it. But w7m, they do find the opener. Foxay goes down. Looking for a second. How does he do it? Please tell me. Immediately cautious of the flank with the skeleton key. Newers can find nothing. No info. Blind. Deaf and dumb. Oxygen in a 3v5 to stave off the 7-1.
w7m now in pole position to take this match. A 3-on-5 situation, 3 smoke canisters now made, 2 for Dream. Something heroic needs to come out of Oxygen if they want to stay in this matchup, in this series, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
A bomb has been located.
You say w7m are in pole position. I say they're on their final lap. Oxygen miles and miles behind. The 3v5 at the best of times is a tall order, and there's a whole minute for w7m to work with. GDN with the diffuser, droning out Master. He spots Newers, I do believe, who's just rotated into Closet, but the real player that needs to step up here is Dream. He's the one holding on to Trophy, and he's going to feel so much pressure very shortly.
A Master side take is what w7m are electing to do. With only 41 seconds, they will be met by the mirror window. Is it too little, too late? I'm not sure, but they certainly have the man advantage. Laxing to collect one, Hurts to click to second, and it's all happening here on the bomb side.
Oh my god, KZ finds one. It's all up to Newers. Hurts to close it with a 4K. w7m are the second team at the Berlin Major to make it to playoffs.
And what an incredible performance that was from start to finish. It was w7m every single step of the way. Oxygen were caught in the current that this team had made, the aura that was just unbeatable and permeates the entire server.
You call them w7m, I call them w7-1.